I loved this opening for Obsidian Entertainment where they like call back to all the games they've made.
It is pretty cool. I love that Xbox has Obsidian. They're probably, I mean, outside of Bethesda, I mean, they're probably my favorite. Like when I saw that Xbox got Obsidian, I was like, oh man, that is a good score.
Yeah, for sure.
Does this make you want to play Pillars of Eternity though?
Honestly, it doesn't, but it does make me want to go hard in Outer Worlds.
I can see that. I can see that. Yeah. Seeing the shot of the guy walking on the dock, all these dudes whipping out their swords.
And you've heard, Josh, the biggest criticism of this game is like the style of like how it looks and the graphics and stuff. But like, as it starts up, it looks very much what I expect. Like these scenes we're watching right now, it looks very much as I expected. It looks kind of Skyrim-y. Then you get here and you see the more like translucent,
the flora and fauna, and it looks a little off.
And the logo for the game is obviously more like neon and stuff now. But
yeah, I mean,
there's guns. It's crazy.
That is pretty cool though. But there's parts of this that just looks like it's going to be so awesome, and then other parts that look like it still needs work. But I mean, one of my big takeaways from it though is just the fact that, like, I mean, look where I felt like about Starfield a year ago compared to now, night and day.
Yeah.
So
where for you does it seem like it needs work? Like, not at all disagreeing, just asking.
Some of the gameplay looks a little wonky. There's parts where it looks really good in here, and parts where it looks a little wonky. And just again, we need to get a better sense of what this game is offering, because I think it's I mean, it is clearly upsetting a lot of people, and it has let a lot of people down. And I don't necessarily fit into that, but it's just this is the first time we're seeing it after 3 years, and after seeing a under 3-minute trailer after that amount of time, and people have had 3 years to kind of forge their own thoughts of that.
Yeah,
it's hard to meet that with 3 minutes. So, but parts of it look awesome.
That is the problem with showing your game off too early, right? Like people, you've said this in I mean, to your credit, Josh, you said this in several older episodes we've done, where you're like, people have built up an idea in their head over 3 years what this game is, and if it doesn't look exactly like what people have been expecting, you're bound to disappoint them, right? Yeah. And this, to me, I think, I mean, if I'm trying to be objective, I think this looks like a pretty awesome game, pretty awesome trailer, but it still disappointed many simply because it wasn't what they built up in their head. But
I mean, that's the trailer, guys. But play it day one with Game Pass, love it. But for you guys that aren't in the know, this game is confirmed to be zone focused, more like if you play Dragon Age Origins, KOTOR 2, or KOTOR. But a lot of games like that, where it's not going to be open world, just kind of more open zone, or Outer Worlds, for example. It's like that, but fantasy. Yeah. And it also is confirmed to have only 2 playable races. So going off a 3-minute trailer after like 3 years of waiting, and then hearing that it's not necessarily what people expected because they didn't have any info to go off of, it's really upset a lot of people, along with the visual style. And I'll say the only criticism, because I have a lot of positive things to say about it, the only real criticism I have is I just feel like, compared to what we saw 3 years ago in that initial trailer that was CG, to be fair, of a first-person shot of this person with a sword in one hand and sort of like the Bioshock plasma type effect in the other. Yeah. It doesn't look visually at all close to that. And that's what's a bit of a bummer to me. But I don't need a game to look like it's a visual stunner. But I can't wait to see more for this game, Brian. I mean, I'm going to play it day one. I'm still excited for it. I'm less excited than I was before, but I'm not hating on it. I'm not over here poo-pooing on it. I can't wait to play it. I can't wait to play more in that world, learn more about its lore, and just see the different biomes and what you can do with your character builds and stuff like that. It still looks like it's going to be a blast to me.
Well, I think what you're saying is your major criticism is that they showed it too early and set up expectations, right? Because any kind of disappointment you have really does stem from that. It looks different than what they showed when the game was probably just in,
it's like, mostly that. I think the only other nitpick I could have is really that it doesn't, to me, in some ways, look like a AAA game on the level of Starfield or on the PlayStation side, like a Spider-Man 2. But at the same time, who says that every AAA game needs to have those type of standards? I don't think they do.
But I think, too, like, for us, with them acquiring Obsidian and then showing off that trailer in 2020, it gave us the idea that, this is Microsoft funding a Skyrim-level game. And they never said that, but it kind of felt like that culturally. Yeah. That was the idea.
Well, and I think
now we see that it's more of an Outer World-sized game. And it on one hand, you get disappointed because you're like, I thought this was a Skyrim thing. But then for me, where I'm really like, I'm actually more excited for Avowed now by far than I've ever been, is because they came out and they said, you know what, this is going to be more what we're good at. This is going to be an Outer World size game where I'm picturing a 25 to 30 hours to mainline it and maybe like 50 to 60 to 100% it, which is so much less than like a Bethesda game or a Witcher. And for me, that gets me really excited for multiple reasons. One, I don't need another, 100 hour game in my life. I've got so many of those already. So it makes me feel good to know that I'm not going to have to invest that level. And then also, to me, it almost like, even though it's another first-person RPG like Starfield is or Skyrim is, it slots into a different place for me, right? Like, I can get excited for Xbox releasing new games and having one of these games be a smaller experience, tightly built game like Avowed. Like, I know that their writing's good, the team's so good, and I'm going to be able to say, when Avowed comes out, I'm going to be like, yeah, I can get this game, and it's not going to be a Starfield where I have to worry about, here's the next 5 months of my life. Here is maybe a month of this, like, experience that's boiled down to its best elements, and they do a really good job at writing and companions and everything. Obviously, they have changed the style a little bit, even like the title, the font is very, like, given a whole different vibe. Like, the original title gave me like this could be Skyrim vibe, but this one's giving me like a fantastical, like you said, it's almost sliding into that like AA game other than AAA. But I think even saying that, to be fair, it probably still is AAA. It's not Starfield.
I'm sure it is. Skyrim. We just need we need a little slice of deep dive, a little portion of what we got from Starfield next year for Avowed. Like, even if it's just 10 minutes, give us some kind of deep dive of what this game is going to be. When it's more closer to being ready. It was cool enough, if we can just focus on what's there. I mean, it's cool enough to finally see gameplay. It's cool enough to know that it's coming soon. It said 2024. That could be any time in 2024. But it still looks like it's going to be a blast to play. And I completely agree with you, Brian. I think, they haven't said it, so maybe we're, again, getting our expectations met or set for disappointment. I don't know. But a 20 to 30 hour main story, or with side quests and stuff, and then as a completionist, up to like 50. That sounds perfect to me. The open zone stuff is fantastic and a breath of fresh air in a game, in an industry where we have Tears of the Kingdom out and Starfield coming and all these other games like Hogwarts Legacy that I just played that has, frankly, a lot of bloat. And, depending on your area of preference. But, dude, this looks awesome. Still looks like it's going to be fun. I believe in it. I just need to see more of it.
All right, Josh, to conclude our final thoughts on Avowed, where were you before the showcase on your hype for this game? Just one flat-out score, and where are you after? And I'll give mine.
10 down to 5.
10 down to 5. Okay, yeah. So a big kind of, in a sense, disappointment to Josh and his level of hype for it, and then what it was after they showed it. For me, kind of the opposite to Josh. I was a 6 coming in. I'm like, this is a game I'm probably going to buy because it's Obsidian and it's exclusive to Xbox, and it'll probably be good, but I'm not really thinking about it too much. And then I see this trailer and kind of their vision for the game, hearing about it afterwards, and I'm up at like a 9. I'm like, yeah, this is a day one purchase for me. So
that's good, man. That's very good.
You can kind of see it probably split people, right? Like, you have people like Josh who probably walked away a little more disappointed. You have people like me who are like, oh, I'm actually interested now. But I think all in all, it's going to be a brand new game, a new IP that's coming to Game Pass, and everyone on the platform is probably going to buy it and have a good time.
I'm still very excited for that game. I just want to see more from it. But, now the part of me that gives it a 5 is just more the part of me that says, okay, I don't really feel as excited about it as I initially was, but I still like what's there. I just have to sort of readjust to what it is as opposed to what I thought it was going to be for 3 years. And we're all guilty of that at different points in time. And for now, I can just focus on other games knowing that it's coming next year. That was good enough for me. I can't wait to see more. If it doesn't come out before, the sort of summer gaming season, then I hope we get some kind of deep dive similar to what Starfield gave us. Not that, and when I say that, I'm going to start saying that a lot probably on this podcast this year, that I want that for games in the future, because I just think it was unanimously well received how well that was. But not every game deserves or needs or should have a 45-minute deep dive. So I don't think Avowed necessarily needs it, but it's something like a good 10-minute demo that can really give us a healthy grasp on that game.
10 minutes is a lot of time.
Like, it is, depending on the game, but it can be a lot of time. So absolutely, but still looks fun. Still can't wait to see it.